Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Oh, okay, bye. Today I am going to be doing my spring TBR and talking about all the books that I plan to read over the next few months. I haven't done a seasonal TBR in a while because I don't think I did one for winter. So if you haven't watched one of my seasonal TBRs, basically I talk about the upcoming releases that I am planning on reading, any book club books that I'm doing, any seasonal themed books, so books that just feel like spring. And then I also choose a couple prompts out of my TBR jar and I choose books that fit those prompts. We're gonna start with my anticipated releases for March, April, and May. And I have a lot. The next few months is super packed with new releases that I'm very excited about. On April 9th, we have Ghost Ship by S.A. Barnes. This is a new sci-fi horror book. It says that it's about a crew who must try to survive on an ancient abandoned planet. And that just sounds amazing. I really loved this author's debut book, Dead Silence. So I'm very excited for this. And I just love sci-fi horror, any type of like space exploration, stranded on a ship, stranded on a planet. I am here for that. Then we have Miss Leigh Bardugo's new release, The Familiar. This one also comes out on April 9th. This is her new historical fantasy that is set in the Spanish Golden Age. And she has also said that this is her most romantic book, which I'm like, say no more. Another author I love whose book that I am so excited for is Elsie Silver's new release, Wild Love. This is the first book in her new series that I think is another spin-off of Chestnut Springs. And this one is also small town, brothers, best friend romance. I'm here for literally anything that Elsie Silver writes, and I'm hoping that this one is as good as Chestnut Springs, because if it is, then I can get my ass into gear and actually finish Chestnut Springs, because I have been holding out because I don't want to run out of Elsie Silver books to read. Oh, and that one also comes out April 9th. So April 9th is a stacked day. Then coming out on April 16th, we have Late Bloomer by Maisie Eddings. This is a sapphic romance, and this cover is giving spring. Like, this looks like the perfect spring book to me. It says that it's a sapphic opposites attract romance, and it's about a main character who wins the lottery. When she wins the lottery, all of these people come out of the woodworks like asking her for money, and so she decides to put all of her money into saving this flower farm. She's just gonna go live out the rest of her life on this little flower farm. But then when she gets there, there's this grumpy woman who's like, I'm the rightful owner of this farm and I am not leaving. And so they strike up a co-running this flower farm situation. Like, it sounds so cute, like cottagecore sapphic romance. I feel like this is the romance version of Bloom. Two sapphic girls on a little farm, running a farm together. On May 14th is The Honey Witch by Sydney J. Shields. This cover also screams spring. I am so excited for this book. It's another cottagecore cozy fantasy. I believe that this one is also sapphic. The Honey Witch of Innisfree can never find true love. That is her curse to bear. But when a young woman who doesn't believe in magic arrives on her island, sparks fly. It just sounds so cute. I feel like this is gonna be like the book of spring. I just have a feeling it's gonna be very popular. Then on May 21st, we have Savor It by Tara DeWitt. This is a contemporary romance that sounds like my perfect kind of romance because the hero is a chef. He's a chef, and it's a small town, and it's about a main character who wants to win this summer festival. It's this big like competition in this small town, and she desperately wants to win it. So she strikes up a deal with this chef for him to help her in the competition. And I'm just like, oh my god, that sounds perfect. Then also new releases, there are two sequels that I'm very excited about. The first one is Court of Wanderers by Rin Chapeko. This is the sequel and final book to Silver Under Nightfall, which was one of my favorite books of last year, and I cannot wait to see how it wraps up. I'm a little nervous because I loved book one so much, and I'm just dying to see what the conclusion is. This is a sort of historical fantasy vampire duology, and it's amazing. If you like Castlevania, it has those vibes. And then also another vampire sequel is First Light by Liz Karen. This is the sequel to Night's Edge, which I really enjoyed. That one was about a girl whose mother gets turned into a vampire, and it's about her and this controlling and toxic abusive relationship she has with her mom, and being a human who's trying to protect her vampire mom but also trying to protect other humans from her vampire mom. It was very interesting, and I loved the way that it ended, so I'm very excited to read the second book and just like see where it goes. So those are all of my anticipated releases. For my Patreon book club in March, we are reading Entreat Me by Grace Draven, which I'm so excited. This is gonna be a reread for me, and I am very excited to be rereading it with this very stunning edition. So this is a fantasy romance that is kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it switches up the story a lot, and it was just so gothic and romantic and beautiful, and I love Grace Draven a lot. You guys know I talk about Radiance all the time, but this one was also amazing, and I'm very excited to reread it with my patrons. Then also this year I'm doing a classics challenge, trying to get myself to read a lot of the classics that I have wanted to read over the years. So I wanted to pick out one that felt like spring to me. So the one that I'm going with is Anne of Green Gables by Lucy M. Montgomery. I've watched the Netflix adaptation and I loved the show. I actually think most of it takes place in winter, if now I'm remembering correctly, but I don't know, something about Anne of Green Gables reminds me of spring because it takes place on like this little farm. So I'm very, very excited to read this and see how it compares to the show. I'm very curious to see like what the differences are in the adaptation. And then I'm thinking spring might also be a good time to read a Jane Austen that I haven't read, because also Jane Austen reminds me of spring. So I'm thinking maybe Persuasion could be a good one. Again, I don't know if Persuasion, like what season Persuasion takes place in mostly, but to me, Jane Austen gives the vibes of spring in her writing. So it just makes sense. It makes sense to me to read a Jane Austen in spring. Now I'm gonna pick some challenges from my TBR jar, which I have not used this thing in a long time. Normally I do 3, so I'll do like 1 TBR challenge a month. It's been so long since I've used this though, I don't even remember what challenges are in here. I do think that right now I'm really in the mood for like lighter, cozier, fun reads. I keep saying I want silly goofy, so hopefully the jar is on the same page as me. All right, here's the first one. A book you know nothing about. How about I'm gonna interpret this as a book that I've never seen a review for? Let's do that. Let's do that. I'll interpret it that way, because a book I know nothing, I don't buy books that I know nothing about. I spot one that I'm gonna pick. Okay, I'm gonna pick A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by Jay Penner. This is one that I think I randomly found on Amazon. I like searched cozy fantasy and this popped up, but I've never seen anyone review it. So this one is a fantasy baking competition that just sounds so cute, like cozy fantasy vibes, fun, baking. This feels like a very good spring book. I hope that it has a lot of like Legends and Lattes vibes to it, which is another great spring book. All right, let's do the next one. Okay, this one reminds you of a favorite movie or TV show. Oh my God, I'm getting hard challenges today. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, wait. I've been looking for an excuse to read this because it will be a reread, and that is The Library of the Unwritten by A.J. Hackwood. This was one of my favorite books when I read it, I think in 2020, and then I never continued the trilogy. So I really want to reread this and finish that trilogy. But this really reminds me of The Good Place, because basically it's about this librarian in hell and this war between angels and demons. It kind of toes the balance of like having darker elements, but then being kind of silly and fun. So I really, really want to reread this, so that's perfect. All right, and then the last one, I'll pick one from the bottom, which is a book with sprayed edges. Okay, well, I have plenty to choose from. However, I actually think I'm gonna pick one that's not here, and I'm gonna go with A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. I just got this in the mail the other day, and I actually think it comes out in a couple days. And this is a Viking fantasy romance that I'm so excited to read because I love Danielle L. Jensen's Bridge Kingdom series, so I'm very excited for a Viking fantasy romance. So, honestly, the TBR jar, she kind of slayed today. She really did. Because we've got a romance, a cozy fantasy, a reread. The jar was working in my favor today. That is going to be all of my spring TBR and all of the books that I'm planning to read over the next few months. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon where I post tons of exclusive content. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!